Joining me now is Noa Tishby, actress and author of Israel, A Simple Guide to the Most Misunderstood Country on Earth. Noa, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Ben.
This rise that we've seen in anti-Semitic violence here in America really is unlike something that I think we've seen here in a very long time. And it concerns me a great deal, and I feel like people are not paying enough attention to it or responding to it in a significant way. What ought we be doing in our communities to ensure that things like this do not happen?
First of all, we have to normalize calling anti-Semitism out. This is unbelievable that you have to excuse yourself and walk back and try to excuse what people are saying. That clip, I love Sunny and I love The View. However, couple of things. He was trying to walk back what he said. So first of all, it's obvious that he was talking about Jews. And also, even if he was talking about only, quote unquote, the Israeli military, that's still liable. She's a self-described not a military expert, but she's still trying to have an opinion about the military. I actually prepared some quotes here because there were a lot of military experts that are talking about the actions of the military army. There was, of the Israeli army, there was Colonel Richard Kemp, who is the British commander of the Afghan forces, who keep talking about how the Israeli military is the most ethical in the world. Also, there was a UN group which comprised of American, British, German, Italian, Spanish, French, Indian, Australian, and Colombian defense forces. They said they had, first of all, a huge level of access that was unparalleled, and they stated that Israel acted within the parameters of the law of armed conflict, and in some respects exceeded the highest standard we set for our own military, our own nation's military. This is what the experts are saying. Sunny is not an expert. Bella Hadid is not an expert. Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are also not military experts.
If you had the opportunity to say to non-Jewish Americans today what they ought to be doing to support their fellow Jewish Americans as citizens who are currently experiencing this kind of blowback related both to foreign policy but to long-standing racism and anti-Semitism that we've seen historically, what would you say to them today that they can do to help?
It's a great question. Here's what I would say. Reach out. One of the things that we feel as the Jewish community is completely isolated. We all talk about this, that a lot of our friends, especially in liberal circles where I travel, I work and live in Hollywood, people don't actually reach out and ask you, how are you doing? For some reason, Jew hatred is the only form of bigotry that is still acceptable. People don't get condemned for it, they don't get fired for it, and they don't made to publicly apologize for it. And, you wonder why this is. Why is it that these polite circles accept anti-Semitism in such a way that they recoil and keep quiet? And the fact is that for some reason, Jews are not considered a minority in the United States, which is crazy. It's a little over 7 million people. We're 2.6% of the population. We are a minority. We've been attacked and persecuted for thousands of years, and it's coming back right now. So if I can say one thing to anybody who's watching this right now, reach out to your Jewish friends. Ask us, ask them, how are they doing? It would mean the world. It really would.
Noa Tishby, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is an enormously important issue, and I appreciate you speaking up about it.
Thank you so much for having me.